saying this. Okay. So just want to let you know, I'm going to share this as a Google link. I'm going to share it as a YouTube link, and I'm going to share it also as a Zoom link as well. So you have it in like 3 different platforms. I do have a YouTube page, but I don't really understand it that much. So, but I do want to have that link so that you can share the link with your friends that have Tower Gardens or that are interested in Tower Gardens. So I just want to thank you all for being on. I want to apologize to each and every one of you, despite prior to the, I guess for prior to the pandemic, because I know you all have not heard from me. And so I want to thank you all for your patronage of the Tower Garden, but then I did not want to just leave you alone. I am back in the classroom at Rex Mill Middle School as a PE coach there. But then that time has allowed me to be able to be creative with my support. So I never want to just kind of sell something for you and leave you there. I'm not a salesman. I'm a teacher that happens to provide Tower Gardens to people. So, you know, I am considered a teacher that happens to be a salesman. Hello, Mr. Nenville. Thank you.
Hey, what's going on?
Thank you for joining.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I just hope you all accept my apology for not being there to support you all on that monthly basis. Miss Ashley, you can tell Miss Cook, Miss Cook, Miss Cook, I apologize, and so I'll make sure that I send that email out to her as well. And so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Share my screen again. That's not what I want. Are you all able to see this? Okay, good. Okay, awesome. And Ms. Tracy, if you could monitor the chat. I'm gonna leave about 20 minutes for us to do that, to do the Q&A pretty much. So so this is a training. Even though I gave you the information, I'm just kind of I'm gonna go through it, not necessarily fast, but I'm gonna go through it pretty swiftly so that if we need to talk one-on-one, which I know that we probably will, by email or by phone or just by a one-on-one, we can do that as well. So this is just a Tower Garden refresher, pretty much. I know a lot of you all probably will not be doing doing any of the growing. I just want to let you know that Long Middle School. Thank you for Miss Pendergrass being on. I met with her the other day. That is trying to start to grow before the school year is out. So I'm glad that she's back on again. And so I do have some partnerships for you, Miss Pendergrass, and everything else as well. So objective is just to show you how the implementation of the Tower Garden in the classrooms can strengthen students' academic foundation to take them beyond college and career ready, to be college and career ready. Just quickly, the agenda, the greetings, we did the housekeeping. I guess, like I said, Ms. Tracy is monitoring the chat, so she will make sure that those questions are answered. If you have any questions, we just kind of go over how the Tower Garden worked. I know that a lot of you all, Miss Raven is new to the Tower Garden. I know Miss Ashley out of Tipp County is new to the Tower Garden. So I'm gonna just play a quick 1-minute video just to kind of show you about how the Tower Garden works. And then we'll go over maintaining your garden investment. That is all a part of the that's a part of the actual Tower Garden refresher. Tips, tricks, lessons, and updates, warranty, and customer service, and then we'll do Q&A. All right, so let me do another share.
Tower Garden's state-of-the-art aeroponic vertical garden system uses both water and air to produce more colorful, better tasting, and incredibly nutritious fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Tower Garden has a 20-gallon reservoir at its base that stores the Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Developed by experts in plant and human nutrition, Tower Tonic Mineral Blend enables superior plant growth and better nutrition from your Tower Garden produce. The process begins once the seedlings have been placed in your tower garden. Here they will be nourished with Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Inside the reservoir is a small, low-wattage submersible pump. The pump pushes the nutrient solution up through the tower to the top. From there, the nutrient solution drips through the central tower using a special device that evenly cascades the solution over the exposed plant roots. On the journey down the tower, the nutrient solution feeds the roots and becomes highly oxygenated as it cascades gently down the reservoir. This process is continuous, providing fresh oxygen, water, and nutrients to the roots of the plants. This aeroponic process enables food crops to grow faster than they would in soil, so they can be harvested more often. And it makes Tower Garden the healthier, easier, smarter way to grow your produce.
All right, so that was just a brief introduction about what the Tower Garden is, and how it works pretty much. And so I just wanted to share that with you all, and thank you all for coming in. So we're looking at the maintaining my investment. I did an update on this one. I know that when I met with a lot of people, especially if you just first got the garden, I told you that I was going to update it, especially with. I know a lot of time people need to know, when do I add water, how much do I add, and everything. So I want to make sure that you understand that. So that's where that whole refresher kind of comes in there. So let me show it. So I'll be talking about the reservoir base, the swivel hose, the reservoir lid, the net pots, the shower cap, the mineral blend, the water pump, reservoir lid. I know I'm going fast, but then you'll see why I'm doing that. The tower sections. I do have my tower garden behind me. Pretty much, I know that I will when I stop sharing, then I kind of show you it real time. The measuring cup, the drain pipe, rock wool cubes, the pH supplies, the acid basin tester, seed starter kit, the timer, the water. Reminder for the organic to find champions for your garden, the metal rods, and also the growing pots. I want to just kind of show you this because I'm gonna bring this one up. A lot of you all have what's called the Tower Garden Flex. The Tower Garden has what's called a Tower Garden Flex. Are you all able to see what says Tower Garden Flex? Are y'all able to see that? Good. So I told you about, this is what typically a lot of people have. Another update that the Tower Garden has, the Tower Garden has the Tower Garden Home. And I'm gonna show you that home in just a minute. That's the newer Tower Garden. But I mentioned the reservoir base. I mentioned the reservoir base. If you look right here, this is what's called the reservoir base. This green, that holds 20 gallons of water. The reservoir lid is what sits on top of the tower. The tower is a vertical garden system. That's what that is. When you see the tower sections, typically it's 4 with schools, depending on which one you get. Most schools, I think now they are doing they're just going back to that's the basic, where you're growing 20. So the tower section, they give you 4, but then you can get an extension that grows, and it allows you to grow 28 different tower gardens. Hello, Mr. Pittman. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming. You got the shower cap lid. The shower cap lid, if you saw, that's where the water gathers at the very top. And then those little holes in the bottom, this is kind of what it looks like. Hold on. I'll show you. If y'all can see me, this is what the shower cap looks like. And so all of the water gathers at the top, and then it just kind of sprinkles down. And with the technology of the Tower Garden, it allows the roots to be evenly watered so there's not a restriction of water anywhere. So just wanted to go over that. A new update that they have is that they have a different type of pump. This is what this pump. It's more of a heavy duty pump. So if your pump works, we'll say thumbs up. If it's not working, then we'll talk about that in the warranty as far as being able to get that pump replaced for you. When I went to Lone Middle School just to kind of check in, I wanted to make sure that those intricate parts are working. With the tower garden, I think the two most important parts for the tower garden is the pump and the timer. Yeah, you may need to grow with the rock wool, but the pump and the timer is really what you're going to need. This is the newer timer that they have. A lot of us have the older timer. I know that you may have this timer right here. And those that's looking, you may have that timer right there. So if you have that timer, then that's one of the older timers that they have. If you have the new lights, the new LED lights, you know, there's a timer already on the lights. So we'll go over all of that. The swivel hose that goes on the bottom of the garden, this is what allows the water to pump. This allows a connection between the pump and the water. The pump, this allows, the swivel hose allows the pump to pump water up through the garden. Access port lid, the wing nuts, the washers, the rods, that's what allows the tower garden to actually be able to kind of be put together like a puzzle. Of course, with the tower garden, you have the germination tray. If you don't have this tray anymore, no worries. You can use any kind of bucket, you know, any type of basket that's flat where you can just kind of put the nutrients in and the rock wool in to grow. The picture of the rock wool cubes is there, but I did bring the rock wool cubes for those of you all that don't know. These are the rock wool cubes. What the rock wool cubes are, they are spun volcanic rock that is that's been spun into a cube, and this takes the place of the soil. This takes the place of the soil. Now, it does not take the place of the nutrients, but it takes the place of the soil. The seed just need a house to live in, you know, so that's what the soil plays, but soil also has nutrients with that. With the germination kit, you get the seed starter kit, the vermiculite. The vermiculite is what kind of plays in also with the soil as well. What this does is that this goes on top of the seed. So what you do when germinating your seeds, I know Miss Pendergrass, this is for you. If you want to start from seed or start from I guess start from rock wool, you soak your rock wool in the nutrient solution, put in your seed, put the rock wool, the vermiculite on top, and put it in a sunny window, and you just kind of let it grow that way. The net pots are what the tower garden or what the rock wool sits in. We got the mineral blend, the pH kit, and the mineral blend. If you don't know, the tower garden is hydroponic. It uses no soil. So a lot of people ask, well, are the nutrients safe? Where if you know anything about nutrients or anything about soil, I guess rocks, nutrients are nothing but minerals that are just been liquefied pretty much. So it's the minerals that they found in rocks and maybe even soil that's after been liquefied pretty much. I know I'm not a scientist per se. I know that Miss Pendergrass, you know, we didn't go over this, but then, but they are food safe, you know, and so on the back of the label, you can kind of see exactly those macronutrients and those micronutrients that go with the tower garden. The pH kit, you got an acid and also a base that comes with that kit. You also got a little tester. The tester is hydrogen peroxide and dime, and that is what you use. If you don't have this tester, that is when you can really find yourself in a lot of trouble, because if you find your leaves out of range, then it's because your pH may be off. And so when you talk about the implementation of the tower garden in the schools and how you can get people involved, if you got a child that does not like science or math, let them balance and then add the nutrients to the pH. A lot of times when you talk about milligrams and grams, it don't make sense to them. But when you talk about adding milligrams and the amount of milligrams that goes in the tower garden and the amount of capful and, you know, being able to balance that out, that's a fun sight to see that. So the measuring cup, the drain pipe. The drain pipe is used to, if you want to ever clean out your garden or start over the growing cycle, you use the drain pipe, which is this pipe right here. This pipe right here. And it goes in the very top of the shower cap, and you just turn the water on and it just filters out using the drain pipe. So that's what that is for. All right. Tower assembly, we're not going to really go over that. But what I want to do go over is the maintenance of it. So you all have this. I sent this as a PDF file. Those links that say maintenance and harvesting and pest control and cleaning, those are live links. Those are links that'll take you to some information or to some blogs that kind of give you some information about what and how to do it. Some maintenance about the tower garden is to make sure that you check the water regularly. The length of the plants are an indicator. A lot of times when you plant in the tower garden, you won't really know when to add water. The tower garden home has it's a water monitor. It's kind of like a float that's in the garden, that's in the water, and it goes up and lets you know what monitor. We don't have this with the tower gardens we have. So none of my customers have the tower garden home. I'm sorry, that's the new one that they have. So we got to just do it by looking at it ourselves. But what you can do is that you can look at the length of your plants. Ms. Pendergrass, the plants that you're going to get, you won't have to water those or your garden for maybe month and a half because of the length of the plants. Those roots are not going to be that big. But depending on where you are, depending on where you have your garden, you may have to fight with some humidity. And so the humidity of your room can easily evaporate your garden. So you got to watch out for the length of plants and also the humidity. Check the pH after filling the reservoir. There's a link that I put down at the bottom that shows you about how to check the pH. You may not know, those of you that garden, I got to ask a question. Let me stop sharing anyway. How many gardeners do we have on here? Anybody just garden, whether you garden in soil or anywhere? Any gardeners?
I do.
Cool. All right. So just know that whether you are gardening in soil or whether you grow hydroponically, thank you, Miss Singleton. And hello, Miss Folks, and hello, Miss Thompson. Miss Thompson, Miss Folks, if you could put the school that you're at, rename yourself and put the school that you're at.
Yeah, let me do that now.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Neville. Lone representing here. Good job, Lone. All right. So if you are growing in soil or you're growing in I guess hydroponically, I know typically that 5.5, 6.0 range with the pH monitor or reader that you get with the tower garden, you'll have it starts with 5 and then goes all the way to 7. There's a little color meter and with the numbers next to it. I always tell you, if you cannot remember the number, remember the color, leafy green. Leafy green. The color of this right here, it'll be that color. So when your water is that color, when you add the nutrients and add, and then once you test it, then you'll know. A lot of times, I find out depending on what type of water that you have. I know when we went to Long, I think we had to add about maybe 11 to 14 capfuls of base just to raise up the pH. Because if you test your water prior to adding the nutrients, it's going to probably be alkaline, depending on where you are. Atlanta Public Schools, your water is very alkaline. All the water in Atlanta Public Schools is alkaline. Tift County, DeKalb County, I don't know about you all, but I know that typically the water is alkaline. Once we add the nutrients, sometimes it becomes acidic, and then we had to raise it back up. And I'll tell you this, if you look at the back of that package, that it tells you to, as far as raising the pH, do not use the monitor. I mean, as far as like adding 10 milliliters to do that, because you're going to run out of that. This is the tester. Just do capfuls, because you will run out. They only give you this little small pint size, and then you have to buy some more. So I would say when you start to growing, let's have that conversation so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about with the pH. But it gives you, there's a link down that gives you some more information about the pH. The third bullet says, look for brown spots or yellowing leaves. And when you see brown spots or yellowing leaves, that lets you know that your pH is going out of balance or there's some kind of nutrient deficiency. Whenever you add nutrients to your garden, and we'll talk about this more later on, is that if you add 100 of the A, add 100 of the B. Don't add 200 of the A and 100 of the B, because that's going to take it out of, there's going to be a nutrient deficiency. Also, your water may balance, but because of that nutrient deficiency, you may see some yellowing of leaves. You may see some brown spots on your leaves, so you got to watch out for that. It said look under the look on and on top of leaves for pests, any pests. Sorry, we're growing plants, and guess what? For some reason, pests like plants. The pest that likes the most, that likes plants off the top garden, what's called aphids. I think it's aphids, aphids. They love they love those some of those. I went to Cleveland Avenue. They didn't have one pest for the entire maybe 3 years for some reason. Why? I do not know. But I think a lot of times they had companion plants around that garden too, so that can make a difference too. So that's just FYI. But there's a section at the bottom that kind of lets you know about looking under the leaves. Teachers, we get busy. Use your champions, use your kids to do this. Assign them a job. Because you got maybe 28 table garden, 28 little growing pots on your garden, I say use your kids and allow them to do that. Allow a child to look on top and allow a child to look on bottom. Depending on how many table gardens you have in your school, you can, what you can do is that you can allow multiple classes and multiple kids to look at that garden. You can have somebody test the water, somebody test the pH when you only when you add the water for the pH. But as far as pest control, have them look on top and under the bottom. Always look under the bottom first because pests like to hide. They don't want to be seen. That's just FYI. That's a tip. Keep roots away from the pump. You can trim the roots that may be dangling in the reservoir using scissors. Typically, that's what happens when you grow in the tower garden. A lot of your vineier plants, like cucumbers and tomatoes and things that grow on vines, they typically go on the bottom. Kale and those things that grow big, you grow it like a Christmas tree. So a Christmas tree goes out and then it gets kind of like a triangle. Same thing. Those plants that are at the bottom, at the base of the garden, those roots will be in the water. They can really absorb your water real fast in those nutrients. So that would let you know your plants are getting bigger. Good thing. But if you don't watch out for it, and you leave one weekend, leave Friday, and come back Monday to a garden that's dripping. To leaves that are just kind of dangling and just kind of hanging out because it ran out of water. Water is the most important thing about this garden. So you got to make sure you monitor the water regularly. Keep the pump filter or clean the pump filter monthly. You can just do that monthly. A lot of times when you have the roots that break off in the water, a lot of times because of the suction of the pump, is that, and I left my pump, but I'll show you. The roots just kind of want to gravitate to the pump. The pump does have a mesh filter on the inside. You do not have to throw away that filter. Just wash it out and just put it back in. That's just FYI. Always keep the reservoir at least half full. Prevents bolting, which is a premature flowering of seeds. What you don't want is bolting to happen. If you just kind of think, I don't know how you all keep in your cars, those that have a car, as far as fill up your gas, maybe you get to a quarter of a tank full and then you fill up half empty. When I say half is about the tower garden holds, the flex holds 20 gallons. You get about 10 gallons. And the way I say 10 gallons is that the way I know it's 10 gallons is sometimes you can just take one of those round rulers and just kind of, or I take a paint stick and kind of stick it inside of the water. And what I do is that I put a line, I take a paint stick and when it's half full, I put a line for 20 gallons. And then when it's half full, I put a line for 10 gallons. So I know where my water line is, because I don't know, I can't eyeball it, but I can do that. That's a trick that you can use. But make sure that you keep it half full, because if your roots get used to having full nutrients in it, and so if it's only just kind of because the pump the water pump stands about 5 gallons high. If it knows it's about 5 gallons high, it's not going to it's going to try to survive, and it's going to produce its seed because it knows it's not getting as much water. So just FYI. Monitor the humidity in your room. Humid rooms allow the water to evaporate quickly. That is so true. So do not, if you have it in an enclosed room, please keep that door open, because what will happen is that your plants will start sweating. and they don't get air. Plants need air as well. So even though it's out in the open, do not have it in an enclosed room where it does not get, there's no airflow. School breaks, refill the garden to capacity, add nutrients, test the pH, trim the roots in the bottom of the reservoir. Why do I know this? Because I've done this when I went on the trip at school, and I went on a trip at my own home. I own 3 tower gardens myself, and I left and went to California for a conference. I came back, my tower garden was not dry, but it was just wilted. It was wilted. And what I had to do was I had to turn my tower garden on for like maybe eight hours. And it came back. Plants are resilient. So guess what? As long as they're not crusted and dried out, it can come back. And if that ever happens, let me know. Monthly amenity school breaks, depending on the outside. This is for those that are growing outside. Typically, the only thing that you have to do with this, you have to turn on the timer for your water a little bit more frequently than you do it on the inside. Inside timer is like 15 on, 45 minutes off. If you're doing outside, it was more 15 on, 30 off, just because of the humidity and we don't know about the temperature outside. Assign jobs, allow students to maintain. You want to create that buy-in and that inclusion. Miss Ashley, I saw that I saw some kids in the background. Make sure that you include them in it, because I'm telling you, you will get busy, and so you want to create that buy-in. Even though it was gifted to you, even though you have it, they may be like, "What is this?" And it may be like something else to do. So so create that buy-in with them. Adding nutrients. This is one thing I want to add. Half full garden. When your garden is half full, that is like 10 gallons, what you want to do is you want to add 10 milliliters. The measuring cup that you have that came with the garden, that is 200 milliliters. When you add 200 of the A, add 200 of the B. And when you add the 200 of the A and the B, make sure you add them separately and stir. Make sure you add them separately and stir. What I want to do, I want to send you a funny little gift. It's going to be like a PVC pipe. And so on the PVC pipe, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna have some I'm gonna have this information on there. It's gonna look kind of funny. It's gonna be real STEM-like. So it's gonna help. It's gonna be for a stirrer and a reminder too. So I just want to send that to you all. So that's coming soon to everyone. If your garden is empty, you want to do what's called that's 400. If you got the little cup that came with the garden, that's 2 capfuls of the A, 2 capfuls of the B. And make sure that after you add the A and the B, then you test the pH. Do not test the pH with adding only one. If you don't have an A and a B, don't add anything. I would add just water, because you don't want to take it out of balance, and you don't want to have any nutrient deficiencies. All right, cutting the stem, cutting the produce off the stem, harvesting. Just do it from the outside in. Ladies, I know that when you get your hair trimmed, those that have longer hair, and you get your hair trimmed, that promotes growth. The same thing, harvest from the outside in. If you harvest from the middle, that's going to promote bolting, and you don't want that. You do not cut the leaves or herbs too close to the rock wool. That is I did a video down that's at the bottom that'll give you some more information about that. Harvest on demand. Find any reason to harvest your produce. This promotes growth, stronger plants, and plants will continue to produce until it ultimately begins to bolt. Just when you plant a plant in your garden, one plant will give about maybe 4 harvests. Just say 4 harvests. So if you're doing kale, if you got one shoot of kale, that one shoot of kale should give you about 4 harvests. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's just one. And you got 28 typically on yours. That's a lot of kale, or that's a lot. If you do basil, oh my goodness. Let me give you an idea. If you do basil, please have a farmer's market. The basil that grows in the tower garden looks so much better than the basil that you buy at Kroger. That basil is so small. I went to Kroger and that basil is so small. I grew basil in my tower garden the size of my hand. The one leaf the size of my hand. Size of my hand. Harvest often. Find creative ways to share your produce. You can create a farmer's market, host a salad party, cooking demo. That is what I got to give a shout out to Coretta Scott King. Coretta Scott King has a tower garden in their parent center. What they did was that they invited, the parents invited the students down, and they made pesto in there. And so I had a pesto sandwich. I had a turkey sandwich with pesto, and they used the produce from the tower garden to do that. And I know, and so Ms. Pena, I tell you, I talk about you all the time because I steal that what you all did. Integrate the produce across the curriculum. I know there's a lot of science teachers on here. You know, a lot of times, you know, we think of the tower garden as just being something to grow. Think of it as having limitless possibilities. Bring in the community, you know, bring in the cafeteria, you know. I know one school, Stockbridge High School, they were selling their produce to the staff, you know. So there's so many ideas. Pest control. There's some, when you add pest control, whether you're growing outside or inside, spray when it's about when the lights are about to go off. Because one thing that you don't want, or when the sun goes down, because you don't want the spray to burn those leaves. There are 4 natural repellent plants: catnip, mint, dill, nasturtium, that's 5, and also marigold. I said 4, it's really 5. You can use neem oil and insecticide soap as a preventative of aphids, mites, stirrups, whiteflies, and other small pests. Herbicide for worms and caterpillars. I had a conversation with my wife. I remember growing in my garage, I saw a caterpillar. A lot of times, if you're growing like things that flower, caterpillars, and cucumbers and tomatoes and eggplant, you can grow that on the garden. I did a live post at Martin Luther King High School in DeKalb County. I got a friend growing eggplant indoors, cucumbers indoors. Douglas High School with Dr. Franklin Jones, we're growing tomatoes indoors. I'm like crazy. Hold on, let me get Dr. Love. I think you all were growing tomatoes indoors, or you all tried. Did it ever produce, Dr. Love? I don't know if she's still on or not. But yeah, they were growing tomatoes indoors. So you can grow it. A lot of times the company don't recommend that. They recommend growing the leafy greens, but for outside growth, it's unlimited. Watermelon outside, watermelon on the tower garden, you can do it. I'm doing it this summer if we don't move. All right, liquid pyrenethrin. That is one that would that is one pyrenethrin concentrate is one that would kill the bugs, but it won't harm the leaves. That's what you want. Safer in all is what I recommend. If you got a true infestation, Safer in all it's a mixture of the pyrenethrin oil, neem oil, and the insecticide soap. So it kills the plants, but not, it kills the insects, but the pests, but it does not kill the leaves. And that's what you want. Liquid copper, that's for, if you're growing like those tomatoes and those cucumbers, for some reason, those little that powdery substance, that is what you use for that. Cleaning. If you got plants on your tower garden, this, Ms. Pendergrass, this is for you. If you have plants on your tower gardens, use a mixture of vinegar and water for that. And you can designate a toothbrush. A toothbrush is simply for cleaning, and just kind of scrape off anything that you need to clean. Or you can just get one of those, just a paper towel on one of those microfiber cloths that's designated for the tower garden, vinegar and water, and just kind of wipe it off that way. Clean it in entire garden. When you want to finally just clean up the entire garden, you can take off everything pretty much. The lights, these lights right here, they actually come off. Those lights come off. And so you can take that off, unscrew the wing nuts at the top, and you just kind of dismantle the top garden. Everything can go in the base in the reservoir base. That's that green base. And you just use soapy water. You can use some baking soda and also just a little bit of hydrogen peroxide. If you see my garden, kind of looking kind of dingy looking, you can bring that color back. This happens when you have it outside, like mine is outside. You can bring that color back just with a hydrogen peroxide and baking soda mixture, and the color will come back. A lot of people, they say use OxyClean. You can do that. There's a lot that you can use as well. for that. What I want to show you, curriculum. How to balance. These are some live links down here that shows you how to germinate, about balancing your pH, starting seeds, about adding the water and nutrients to your water. Move this thing up. I'm gonna literally go over the Tower Garden lessons and everything like that. So I'm doing that personally. Let me show you this. There's a partnership that I have with ATL Urban Farms. I'm going to send you a list. So a lot of these documents, I'm gonna send you a lot more documents to your. So I'm gonna send them to your email. But what I'm going to do is that everyone, like Mr. Menville, Ms. Pendergrass, and also Ms. Raven, I actually have a folder. I have a folder for Crawford Loan. And so I'm gonna give you all access to that folder, and you'll see everything that is related to Crawford Loan in that folder. So any documents, I share that with you. That'll be a shared folder. Everyone, you'll have that shared folder. I got tip count, I got all schools. I do have a folder for all schools. But let me show you about this, and I hope it does how I want to do.
Mr. Jason.
Yes, ma'am.
5 minutes.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, so I want to show you this. So this is ATL Urban Farms. They are located in Cummings, Georgia. This is where I typically, because they are local and because I know them, I've been to this location. They have a school partnership program, and Miss Pendergrass, this is where I was talking about. I was contacting Miss Cherie Crow. She called me. We've been playing phone tag, but this is typically where I get my Tower Garden seedlings from. If you don't want to grow your seedlings from here, this is a local Tower Garden seedling provider where you can get the Tower Garden or get the seedlings from, and they will ship them to you. It'll be there in a day or two, pretty much, and you can just pop them inside of your garden. But they have a school partnership program, and so you all have a link to this. She already knows pretty much. I'll make her aware of it that you may see some of my customers that may be reaching out to you as far as being a partner with the school, because you get a discount on the seedlings. You can get a discount on the on a lot of their accessories. They are representative like I am too. What they provide that I don't provide, they provide the seedlings, and this is an example of the seedlings. If you've never seen them before, these are all the seedlings. And they already grown in the rock where it's kind of like pick, pop, and grow fast. So Miss Pendergrass, even for you, one thing about it is that I know that I'm gonna ask them if they are vendors with the county. If they're not vendors with APS, then we can. The prices are not, maybe they're a purchase, maybe the use of the purchase the P card may be a option. Just want to let you know this too, and I'll be talking to y'all one-on-one about this as well. If you need some extra supplies for your school and you don't have time to do a purchase order, what we can do is that I can create a quote for you, and we can get those supplies ordered for you. If you have, if your principal or your administrator give you the use of the purchase card, pretty much, we can get it tax-free where you're not paying taxes, and it'll be shipped that way. If you wait on the purchase order, I don't know how long that'll take, pretty much. So we'll just have those outside conversations. Let me show you one more thing before I open up for questions and answers. Let me come out of this. This is my website for the company, but I want you to notice right here is that we have access to lessons, and I'm going to give everyone access to and I did give you access to this site right here. And so there are like 30 lessons, pre-K through, I want to say maybe 12th grade, pre-K through 12th grade. So I know So I just want to let you all know that there are lessons that kind of go with this. For 6th and 7th grade, I love this challenge right here. The Seton Hall challenge, the Tower Garden challenge, the math and science project, and also I guess there are 2 Seton Hall projects. So I just wanted to just give you that information there. All right, let me stop sharing and open up for questions and answers. So for Q&A. All right.
So is the growing season the same? So for instance, if you're growing cucumbers take maybe 6 weeks. If you're using, if you're on the inside and you're growing this in the tower garden, is it also gonna take 6 weeks?
It can probably take about 6 weeks. I know that Dr. Love at Ferguson Elementary School, they were trying to grow cucumbers in the winter. That's a hard thing to do, especially when you don't have pests or any pollinators. I say pests, but I'm calling pollinators. They didn't have any pollinators that can help assist with that. And they didn't help self-pollinate as well. So I'm saying it's going to take about maybe 2 to 3 months. Because because you got to go from stem to flower. I mean, from stem to leaf to flower to fruit. Yeah. And cross-pollination would probably be the best for something like that. If you can put it outside, that'll be even better. Even if you got a greenhouse, if you got a greenhouse at the school or some kind of makeshift greenhouse, you may want to put it there. And you may want to put some pollinators in the greenhouse to promote that so that's an idea. I hope that answers your question. I think somebody had a question. Somebody raised their hand. Oh, sorry, Miss Pitton.
That's okay. I was playing with the hand raiser thing too. But I did have an actual question. We weren't able to keep it cleaned as well as we should have. So, and I can't remember the exact name, but the black nets that you put inside the different holes in the tower garden, I was using the vinegar and the water, but it was like I had to scrub that stuff for real. And it's a little bit of stuff left on it. So I said, well, and I didn't get a chance to call you because, we just been everywhere. But I just like soaked them in vinegar and water. Would that be a good suggestion, or should I have done something else?
That is a good suggestion. One thing I would highly advise too is that dealing with those nutrients, even though they are safe, they are food safe. When those if you got a cut on your hand, trust me, it will find it. I would advise you to wear some gloves when cleaning that tower garden, those net pots, because I'm telling you that stuff it won't agitate it, but it'll almost be like a burning sensation. So I would recommend wearing gloves to do that. But also, Miss Pittman, I would say what you want to do is to use soapy water. Let it soak, and just kind of because what that is that the crust that you see, those are the minerals that has crusted pretty much. And what it looks like, and I think I'm telling Miss Pendergrass this, is that when you move the garden, because the garden is mobile, when you move it, a lot of time those sections get loose a little bit, and so you see some crust on here, and it looks like Krispy Kreme crust. And I'm telling you, it won't. I'm telling you that's the best example I can get. It looks like Krispy Kreme crust, and what it does is that's just the minerals that have seeped out and just kind of they dried up on the outside. That just simply just taking a toothbrush and some vinegar and just kind of scrubbing, just kind of scrubbing. Yeah. So the way to get that is soapy water, and just let it soak. Good question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions for me? Any other questions?
Jason, do you sell the individual parts?
I do. My website, yes. So you can always go. I say this: do not go to my website. Go to my website to look, but do not go to order, because you are a school. You all are tax exempt, so do not ever buy anything from the website. So yeah, so that's that conversation that we're going to have one-on-one, just to kind of find out what supplies you do need. I know that I had Tuskegee Airmen Academy call me the other day, and they needed something fast. You know, they needed something real fast. And I said, don't go to my website. You know, but I called ATL Urban Farms to see if they had anything. They did not. So what I got, that's when I found out that, hey, we can call the Tower Garden department, and because all of you all, whether no matter what county you're in, that same tax exempt form is for the county. So because that same tax exempt form, we were able to make an order over the phone, and they were able to just, you know, order over the phone and get sent to them as quick as me just kind of going somewhere to do that. So so we will have that conversation to find out what supplies you do need and what you need to re-up on.
Okay, I may need you just to come. We were given an older used Tower Garden. The
Right.
one you and I set up, I think still looks pretty good, although after a year, who knows? I haven't seen it in a year, but I know just before all of that, we were given one that's sort of piece parts. I think it's missing some stuff. So
I got you.
would appreciate help with that if you can.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you this, that's a great question. I've been given a couple of Tower Gardens myself, and so those, you will not find those parts on my website. So that's one of those conversations that we got to call the Tower Garden and find out, hey, what's this part name? What's that SKU number, so that we can get that for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good question. Good question. All right. Let me show you this. Let me show you the home version again. This is the home garden. And this one, oh man, they won't let me do. Oh, okay. I just do it this way. So this is an example of the home garden. I'll bring it up in just a minute. All right, I want to make sure that y'all see that. All right, good right there. All right, so this is the Tower Garden home. This is one of the newest products that Tower Garden came up with. It's a little bit more sleeker. Let me not so big. Oh, I ain't want to look that big. It's a little bit more sleeker. If y'all know anything about microgreens, it has a microgreen extension. So you don't even need the net pots. You just stick the rock wool inside of it. So you got, it's got like 16 microgreens that you can grow on that. So you got 16 microgreens. So you're growing like 32 different things at the bottom. It comes with the LED lights. So how you all had to purchase the LED lights. Oh, Miss Pendergrass, I know these are the new lights that we were talking about getting for you pretty much. I know you have the one that has the, the ones that we put together, but these are the LED lights. It comes with it. Also, it's a little sleeker. The wheels come with it. It comes with it, the wheels and everything. So the wheels are already there for it. So this holds 13 gallons instead of the 20 gallons. So this is 13 gallons. And so you can still grow the same thing on there. I know that Miss Singleton, I know that yours, does yours have the cage on it, Miss Singleton?
No, it did not have the cage. It does have the LED lights, but the old one we got has the cage. So but part of it's broken. So I was trying to see if I could, STEAM lab engineer design something.
You know what? I decided to, I took some tape, I took some clear tape, and I wrapped it around the little hole. Then I took a drill and I drilled through the little hole, and I kind of put mine back together again, like Humphrey. Like Humphrey, then I kind of put it back together again. Or what have you. So yeah. Let me make sure I got everything.
We were having great success with ours. As a matter of fact, when we realized we weren't going back to school, I had to get permission to go in the building, and my husband and I had to pull all the plants out of it. And so I made a little presentation for the students about the Great Plant Tower Rescue and showed and brought them home and planted them in soil and didn't even know if they'd adapt. But I ended up with marigolds that were like 5 feet tall. It was a little crazy, but.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that too, because the Tower Garden, the plants that are grown in rock wool, they are interchangeable. What you grow in the tower garden, in the rock wool, you can simply put inside in soil. What you grow in soil, you can put inside the tower garden. But wait, there's a caveat. What you got to do is wash off the roots. Wash off the dirt, cut the rock wool in half, get a rubber band and wrap you'll wrap the biggest part of the stem around the around the rock wool. Let the roots kind of hang from the bottom and just put it inside your tower garden. I've done that a couple of times. That's when I started growing strawberries about 6 years ago, and that's how I did it. That's how I did that.
I wasn't sure how well they'd adapt since they'd already spent about half their lifespan in the hydroponic system to then throw them in a bunch of dirt.
Right.
But they adapted.
Right. Awesome. So Miss Thompson asked, how can she get the recording? Well, Miss Thompson, what I'm going to do 3 things. I'm going to send out a YouTube link. I'm going to send out a Google link. I'm going to put this in your Google folder as well. So everyone will have access to this in your Google folder. Like I said, Ms. Raven, Ms. Pendergrass, Mr. Nimbrell, you all will be a part of Lone Middle School's that folder that I have for you. So it'll be our private folder. Ms. Pittman, you got one for FabU. Ms. Pendergrass, Ms. Pena, you have one for CSK and also for BEST. Mr. Pittman, you got one for AZ Kelsey. Awesome, good job, Ms. Pendergrass. Good job. Yes. So I put it in the folder, but I'm also sending out as an email as well. Follow up, because there's a lot of schools that were not able to get on as well. What you all may notice as well is that I may be introducing you all to I'm creating a partnership. If y'all are familiar with I know in the Atlanta area, you may be Truly Living Well. There is a young lady that I met out of Truly Living Well named Ivory. She is an agricultural. She was an agriculture major at North Carolina A&T. And so what I'm doing is that I'm creating a partnership so that if I cannot get out to the schools to help maintain and partner, then we'll be able to kind of partner that way. So I'm going to contract her out that way. So I'll make sure that I make that introduction to y'all when it's time. Because I'm telling you this, I have a lot of gardens around the nation. I do. And so it's best for me to have some help and have some soldiers on the ground to help with this pursuit. And so I'm very thankful that I'm able to come out to still assist you all. What's coming forward, I also send you an update. I send you, I guess, a letter of support as well, just kind of let you know what on-site and also virtual support. We'll do, this, especially with the support you need. You'll hear from me monthly, but then also what we'll do is that I'll let you know what that on-site training will look like, or my on-site availability will look like. Ms. Thompson, did you have something that you wanted to say? I saw something down there.
No, I didn't. I'm just listening. I got the reason I was asking about the meeting. I got on a little late, then fumbling around, and then I finally got on with my phone. So sweet. I missed like the first part. So and the review of the pieces and the parts. I really want to try to start my garden back up so my first graders can see how they can grow plants without soil, because they don't think so.
I know. And guess what? It's in that standard too. It's right. In the standard. It's in the standard. They don't say nothing about soil. They say nothing about soil. Yeah, they don't think so.
Nutrients.
Yes,
yeah, so I want to show them.
There you go. That's awesome. All right. Ms. Thompson, quick question. What virtual platform is DeKalb County using?
It depends. It's for me at my school, they mainly you're using Teams, Microsoft Teams, but then you have some that are using the Google platform. Some use Zoom, so it just depends.
It does. I know. Because I know Atlanta, what are you all using?
Zoom.
Zoom. Okay. I know Henry County's using Google Meets. Clayton County, we're using Zoom. But then we fall back, if Zoom is not working, we fall back to Google Meets, you know, so it's amazing. So yes, there's a lot of different ones out there.
Right.
Yes. But that is about it. So you all will be hearing from me soon as far as the update. I know that that once we start the recording, then I'll make sure that I send that out. I send out a blast email, but then I'm also put everyone in that shared classroom as well. But I thank you all for your time. And I look forward to working with you all in the very, very near future. And again, I apologize for my absence. For my absence. Yes.
All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Paggett. And I'll be reaching out to you probably